y'all can see, this is a special edition of SawyerBoy TV right here. As y'all can see who I got on the side of me. The Right Honorable Larry Christie. And yeah, this ain't no regular interview. We can keep it real. The people y'all want to hear some things, and I got ask them right now. Y'all know how I go, and that's how we can be right now. So, Mr. Christie, how you doing today?
Man, I'm in good shape, and you know, it's a pleasure to see you, because when I asked you who you were, and I realized that your grandmother and my mother were contemporaries in nursing.
Right.
And so there's a little connection here, and then you come from Hawkins Hill, so that means you're in the valley.
Yes, exactly.
That means the Valley Boys.
Exactly, well, that's me.
The only problem is that you young fellas don't get caught up in that kind of stuff now in Junkanoo. If you go, you're going to just to take a look. People like me went out there and got on the streets and kept on showing that I was as good a dancer as anybody that ever existed in Junkanoo.
I guess that's where the Perry Shuffle come from.
That's where it come from.
All right. Well, that makes sense. That marks out one of my questions, because I was going to ask where the Perry Shuffle come from.
From Bay Street, dancing as the lead dancer for the Valley Boys over generations of time. And when Gus Cooper, we found out that he was terminally ill, I announced I would come out of retirement and tribute to him. And that meant I put on a costume, I disguised myself. And people only got to know it was the Prime Minister when they saw lots of police officers hanging around this particular individual. And I was disguised as the Chinese emperor. But I was able to demonstrate 50 years later that I still had the big shuffle, and I still had the big dance.
Right. All right.
You know, it's like I'm talking about it now. If nobody else says I'm the best, I have to say it.
You're the best.
Oh, I was the best. I was the best, and I went out there to show them I still got a little bit left.
All right, so now that we're on Junkanoo, let's stick to Junkanoo, because you're running in Centerville. Centerville that's your constituency. You get Saxons sitting right in the middle of Centerville. You get one family sitting right in the middle of Centerville. But you a Valley Boy. You ain't scared to say you was a Valley Boy when you go.
Well, when I went over into Mason's Tradition for the first time, I realized I had to tiptoe, because people were not only Saxons, but they were Saxons, meaning that, you know, they really were part of the group, and you know, clearly it was understood that I was a Junkanoo. And at the end of the day, I had this incredible support from the young women in the area who supported the Saxons, and they understood that I was a political representative. And Bola Francis and I were close, and he was the leader of the Saxons. But what I think people didn't know when I got that constituency, my grandfather lived right in the heart of Mason's Tradition, my mother's brother lived in the heart of Mason's Tradition, and my mother's sister lived in the heart of Mason's Tradition. So I was always through there with a blood connection, and therefore it made it easier for me. It made it easier for me. And today, for example, I'm always present at Saxon gatherings, and everybody knows now that there's some of us who transcend the divisions that exist. Like I helped one family get a sponsor. I was very close to the leadership of Roots, Paul Knowles and those who came from the valley, and you know, involved in it. And so, you know, you become a Junkanooer, and therefore you want it to be perpetuated, you want it to be helped. And as Prime Minister, I'm now doing things to help it become very, very important in the calendar of the Bahamas.
Well, that's good there. I'm a Valley Boy, you a Valley Boy. And then we get plenty of Valley Boys. So the cameraman is a Valley Boy.
Listen, you can't miss it. I mean, I try my best to tell them that when we're approaching Christmas, I say, talk easy to me, please, because I'm embarrassed that we have to go out and win again. You know, I mean, I say things like that.
Right. I said the same thing too.
Yeah.
Let's make it easy.
Let's make it easy.
All right, now, we said now we talking. NHI is almost here. Now, for some of the people who don't know it, but NHI, I mean, we don't have to do nothing long, just a brief. Just tell us, what is NHI all about? How is that going to benefit us, people like us who ain't getting?
Look, we have 200,000 Bahamians who have no health insurance. Meaning that if they get sick, unless they have some money available, they're in serious trouble. Now, we can go to the health system, and the health system will provide basic care for you. But at the end of the day, we decided we wanted to have everybody insured. So we spoke about national health insurance, and we said to the people who were insured, we're not going to take away your insurance from you. You could keep your insurance, but we want to add people who are not insured.
Right.
And that is what we're doing now. We just yesterday in the Senate finished the debate in the Senate, so it will become law as early as next week.
Okay.
And we are going to bid now on a public insurance. What people should know: there are old people today. There are sick people today who cannot get insurance because they say you're too old or you have a pre-existing illness. We're going to have a public insurer. We're going to on a worldwide bid. Every company in the world, including companies in the Bahamas, insurance companies here, will be added to it. And once that public insurer is selected, the government will own it, but it will be privately managed. And that is to insure people who insurance companies wouldn't insure, but to guarantee that every Bahamian would be able to have insurance. So what is it we have? We're going to have a system where people, beginning in January, will have what we call access to a doctor for primary care. All of the doctors who are registered, doctor's hospital. So you would be able to go to the doctor's hospital, or you'll be able to go, and once they're registered as a provider, you'll be able to do that. You go to your private doctor. Right now, if you don't have any money, you have to go to a public doctor if they would see you. All right? And so we're going to be leveling the playing field. Now, why is it important? We are listed now in this region as being the worst when it comes to certain diseases. It's amazing for me to have to say this, but Bahamians have to know that we're the worst in diabetes. Diabetes could kill you. It could cause you to lose an arm or leg. And so clearly it's behavioral. So we have to, in addition to diabetes, we have a list of diseases that are prevalent in our country. They call them non-communicable diseases. And we have to address them. So in addition to putting this insurance out, we are going to launch a program for healthy lifestyles. So we're going to want Bahamians who are obese, children in the school. We're going to want to have exercise programs. We're going to have people walking, people being conscious of their health. All of that will help this economy. And the final point I want to make about it is that we hired an international firm that just implemented in South Africa. And what they are arguing is the economy will be helped greatly by national health insurance, because when people are sick, they lose job offers, they don't, they don't work, or they don't go to work all the time. Productivity is low, and really, in a sense, it's going to happen. So what we've decided, my friend, is that we want the doctors to be involved. We want the insurance companies to be involved. We're trying our best to make this all-inclusive, where people don't have to argue and fight over something so basic. Now, ultimately, it's going to work out to be that. But even though some people disagree, we are going ahead with it. We want to implement the first phase in January, and we want to move relentlessly towards a conclusion where we have national health insurance in the Bahamas, and where every Bahamian is able to look forward to the day when they are fully covered. And we are on that. And this is what I want for this country, and this is what we are trying to do now, and most certainly in the process to make us live longer, become healthier by how we go about protecting our own health.
So a plus will be let the people know that they should start doing some exercising.
There's no
and walking.
There's no question about it. Save your life, man.
Exactly. So y'all gotta help with this NHI too. Help yourself. Start walking. Put some exercise in. Cable strip is a nice strip for you to go and do your walking or whatever. So
listen, man, I ain't tell people to enjoy themselves, but Johnny cake, grits, bread, potatoes,
chicken in
potato salad, chicken in the bag.
Chicken in the bag.
You gotta exercise care. When you are eating, and people go fast food, and look, we have to exercise care. We have to be more disciplined in what we eat, and we have to watch our health. And you can't be having doctors acknowledge that you are the worst in the region when it comes to certain things, and you not be concerned about it. And so I just think people like you have to communicate that. I mean, you look like a warrior, man. You look like you're ready for battle now.
Ready.
Ready. See, you're slim, you're fit, and all of that. And Pakais get vexed with people like you, man. You see,
you can't win them all.
You are here. You're not married, man.
Well,
You know, you gotta go and get yourself married.
one of
now,
these days,
find a wife.
you gotta find the right one.
No, I know you must find a right one, but look at you. I asked you how old you are now. You're heading towards 40.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta look at. You're 30, 35.
You're so old now.
Huh? Yeah. And you know, you come from a family and a tradition where.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the tradition was there, so
Yeah.
it's still there. So
But
working on it.
No, I understand you're still on the market and that's important to you. But listen, take your time, man.
All right, now talking about on the market. Now we know you off the market.
That is true.
You're happily married,
Yes, sir.
Miss Christy, and
42
everything.
years.
42 years.
And a beautiful wife.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I've seen her before. Yeah, she is
Okay.
beautiful.
Yes.
Now I just want to know. We know he's a married man. He's a married man, ladies and gentlemen. He loves his wife, Miss Christy. But you know how these ladies go nowadays. You get a little position, you get a little money. They tend to throw themselves at you. The only question I want to know, how much ladies you think you turned on in a week? You're a married man, we just saying.
No, but where does that happen? I don't know. Where are these ladies who throw themselves at you?
I don't know, I just saying.
No.
Because you could have sent some of them
See,
my way. You want me to get married?
You know something? You are describing yourself. And you can't take what happened for you and pass it on to me.
Okay.
People see me now, they'll call me Daddy Christy. Hey, Daddy. You know, when I go into my constituency, the young girls call me Daddy. See, that's my daddy, they
That's
say.
the daddy.
So, that's the kind of approach they take to me. Outside, Daddy Christy. Now, then when it comes to money, where I can get it from? You see, they can see me as somebody who's just a politician who ain't got nothing going for them. And no, unfortunately, I'm not like that. You know,
Right.
I don't have the opportunities. I don't have those kinds of opportunities. I'm locked into an office. I'm spending long hours in the office. And so that part of the Bahamian life,
You don't have that.
no, it misses me.
So-
It misses me.
Miss Christy, it does not happen. Ladies, do not come on to
Tell
your
them
husband.
have faith.
Have faith.
Yeah.
It does not happen.
Absolutely.
Does not happen. So
Absolutely.
happily married man,
And
42
if you
years.
see them talking to me, is either asking me for
What?
lift or for a
It's
job,
a job. It's a job.
or asking me where one of my police officers who are associated with me, where they are.
They're married. They're married.
Well, there might be, but I mean, there's people that's asked me for that.
Well,
Mhm.
well, we ain't getting to that one right now. We
Yeah.
can leave that one alone. You get plenty of young people like myself and others, but not basically. Yeah, me too. Like we still live at home. Young professionals trying to leave home and get our own, but it's kind of difficult. How are y'all helping with young professionals, young Bahamians with homes, getting homes and stuff like that?
Well, you know, we have always been dynamically involved in providing homes, but we've been providing homes for affordable families and not for young persons. We've assumed that the young professional coming home from school will ultimately be able to afford his home, but we do realize that in the marketplace today that is very, very difficult.
Right.
And so we are really trying now to go back to implementing a dynamic housing program. We've been building houses on a slow basis. The Minister of Housing has now a plan that he's implementing to continue with building housing for people. But again, it's still a situation where we have too many young people who are unemployed. Right? Too many young people who are without proper training to be able to fill jobs that exist. And so two things must happen. One, we must continue to work with the economy to make it better. Right? And we must continue to create jobs and have jobs created for people. So you can't even dream of owning a house and you don't even work.
Right.
And when you don't work and have an opportunity to go ahead in the job because you are developing special skills.
Right.
So really the future of our country depends on the extent to which we are able to get a bigger return from the tourism industry, meaning become more competitive in that industry, knowing that Jamaica and Dominican Republic and now Cuba are cheaper destinations.
Right.
Where people can go to on a cheaper basis, and we have to therefore take advantage of what we have. We have to get young Bahamians to recognize now that the frontiers of development have gone outside of New Providence. In Bimini, for example, we've created 700 new jobs now in a new 5-star hotel complex resort down there in Bimini. We're doing the same thing in Abaco. We're about to do the same thing in Eleuthera. We're about to have dynamic changes in the economy in Grand Bahama. We're even developing in Exuma, huge enterprise of tourism nature, developments coming on frame, and we have Club Med as an existence. And so you can see, therefore, that young Bahamians will be invited to pull up their roots in New Providence and go to some of the islands where job opportunities will be, and plant roots there. It'll be good for islands. It'll be good for them to have a start. And it's really going to be good, because us governments have to spend a lot of money putting in schools, and health clinics, and roads. We need people down there to justify that kind of infrastructural expenditure. And so clearly our plan is intended, firstly, to find jobs for young Bahamians, and in finding jobs for young Bahamians, to give them training that would make them be able to earn more money from that, instead of just working as a waiter or a waitress, that you can become something else and ultimately a manager in the hotel. Wonderful stories to be told. And we want to be able to diversify the economy. So in Andros we have a dynamic thing called BAMSI going on, where we want to create more farmers, give young people an opportunity to know they can be able to earn a living from farming, and creating therefore this opportunity based on the fact we spend over $1 billion a year importing food into the Bahamas. We should grow some of it. And just imagine that, right? The other thing you should see is to indigenize the product. Look where we're sitting now. We're sitting with a fella, right, who owns this daiquiri stand here. He has an enormous opportunity to make money. And from tourists and whatnot who come in here and who sit here and earn it. And so he will be using local fruits. For example, if we are able to produce those local fruits, local vegetables, if we're able to produce them. And so therefore there's a market for them. And so hopefully we're going to broaden the economy as well. Then there's the Bahamians who have art. You know, we do Junkanoo. We started off talking about Junkanoo. Some of the people who do those costumes are geniuses.
I know a few.
But listen now, tourists spend up to $300 million a year on souvenir items. But we got to make the souvenirs. And we have to use these geniuses who do Junkanoo costumes to make souvenirs. We have plenty of people who are now doing it. And the point is, we have to give them a market, we have to give them an opportunity so they can keep some of this money here in the Bahamas. And avoid the challenge when you go into some of these stores in the hotels and you ask, where these shells come from? They come from China, they come from Vietnam, they come from the Philippines. And they got them all over the beaches here in the Bahamas. And so the point is, we are really slowly working to create linkages in the economy where Bahamians will see more and more opportunities to use their artistic genius to make money from the economy and make the economy stronger.
All right, good. Now, you was talking about the economy, tourism, and jobs. Now, where we sitting right now, you see this beautiful view we have in front of us, Bahamas. I gotta ask you, what's going on with Bahamas? What's going on with Bahamas?
Bahamas owner developer was about 97% completed when he filed for bankruptcy in the United States of America. One of the most beautiful convention centers is over there that we're looking at. When you go in there, it's so exceptionally beautiful. And then you look at the building sitting there doing nothing. So we have the casino hotel, we have the convention hotel, we have 2 other hotels that will be under private management when Baha Mar opens. And the $64 million question is, when will the construction resume? People have heard me say over and over, soon. But I can tell you that I'm very, very determined that my government will cause this to open shortly. I'm hoping, and by say open I mean for construction to be resumed, towards finishing the buildings, and towards opening it up. And so we are very excited about developments that are taking place now. And I would not, if I had to to put a position to you without disclosing too much, because there shouldn't be. That right now, negotiations are at a very sensitive stage.
Right.
There are lots of people who've been saying, Christine, it can't happen. You're dreaming.
Right.
You're delusional. Well, I hope they will all bow gracefully when they see that despite their ominous warnings and of what can't happen, that when it does happen, I hope that they will concede right, on that we have accomplished something meaningful. Because thousands of people will come to work here.
Yes, I hope it does.
It can be very good for the Bahamas, and there'll hopefully be more dietary stamps because there'll be more tourists to have to cater to.
Right.
And that we will have that local entertainment and people like you.
Right.
Will be able to find a way of life, a living from this wonderful things you're doing now.
Right. But like we have a lot of people hoping and praying for Baha Mar.
Yeah,
right now.
you can anticipate that things are happening and they're happening rapidly.
All right, so it is in the works.
It's in the works.
You are working on getting Baha Mar running.
I'm working on getting Baha Mar running. You heard it here, and I'm saying, take a deep breath.
All right.
All right. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. All right. Now we can start wrapping this up. So we can take this on a more lighter note.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff are happening for Bahamians worldwide right now. We can start it off
Even winning gold medals.
Exactly. Man. Diving for the gold, winning gold medals. Shawnee Miller. Let's talk about Shawnee Miller. Now everyone wants to know. We already know what she did. She won the gold for the Bahamas. Now the people want to know, what are we gonna do for Shawnee? We like to name roads after certain people. I don't mind riding on Shawnee Miller Road. Or I don't mind going by Prince George Wharf and the name Shawnee Miller Wharf, because you could come there and you could dive in for quarters at the same time. But you could also run on the wharf. That's 2 in 1. But you don't have to say what it is. I just want to know, can we expect something to happen for her doing what she did on that world scale?
Well, before the Olympics, I spoke to Shawnee's parents, and they were speaking to me about her future, and they anticipated she was going to do well in the Olympics because she had the ability to win the 200-meter gold and the 400-meter gold.
Right.
It was just a question of scheduling. When Shawnee won, I spoke to her just after the race and congratulated her on behalf of all Bahamians. I issued a statement on it that I sent to her.
Right.
And she knows, for example, by the current policy, that gold medals attract property in an appropriate place. Like the gold, the boys 4x4 team, the girls 4x1 team, they all were awarded property out in the West. And so Shawnee should know that that's going to happen.
Right.
You get a certain amount of money, and you think carefully on how you could appropriately commemorate that. What do you do with Tony Darling? We named a highway after her, and so the government will sit and consult and appropriately honor what has been a magnificent achievement. You see, because what she did, she was literally out on her feet in those last 10 yards. I saw her on Good Morning America yesterday. I was in Bimini watching it, and I saw her say that she didn't die. She said that she was running, she knew she had to win. She saw the girl on the side of her, and she just did everything that she could to get across the finish line. And now, and she said, and it's just amazing. So whatever it was the right result for us.
Right.
But she showed the indomitable spirit of the Bahamian.
Yeah, she did.
Never giving up, never giving in.
Do what it takes.
Do whatever it takes. And she was able to bring whatever it takes to bear for her at the right time and the right moment to get across that finish line. Because by leaning forward, athletes lean forward, and by leaning forward, she was going into that posture where she didn't have any balance.
Right, and
that went into what is now the most famous dive
in the world.
I
think that would have been the 3-meter diving competition in the Olympics.
So we are going to take care of her, but I can tell you what the result is. The result always is that young Bahamians are inspired, whether it's Shawnee, whether it's Buddy Hill,
Right.
they inspire
Jones.
young Bahamians, Junkanoo Jones, that I could be like them.
Right.
I want to be like them.
Exactly.
But they get to know it takes sacrifice, it takes hard work. You don't just jump up and be something good, you have to practice that. And I told people that in the Valley Boys that we formed, we just perfected costuming, we took it to new heights. And so all of the effort on Bay Street was a sum total of a year's activity of planning and organizing. And that happens in sports.
Right.
What I have to do in honor of Shawnee is as Prime Minister, ensure that the little Shawnees that exist in places like as small as Rumkey,
Right.
San Salvador, Ragged Island, obviously through Abaco, Moores Island, right, Exuma, Acklands, that they have expanses of grass that they can run on. Many of them don't have that.
Right.
Many of them have to run on roads and airport tarmacs and beaches. And so to give them open spaces where they could just run and train themselves and then integrate high school and College of the Bahamas, which will be the University of Bahamas, so they can know that if they're good, they can get scholarships all the way through school into the University of the Bahamas.
Right.
It happens in other countries, and we're going to do that here. We're going to be able to give young people an opportunity to be the best they can in sports as a result of their also wanting to be the best they can academically. And so the country moving forward must use this as another example to incentivize, to cause things to happen in a very positive way. And so, that's we want to watch other Shawnees. Jamaica has done a hell of a job.
Yeah, they doing it.
See that?
They
They
doing a
become the sprint capital of the world.
Right.
A couple Carifta games ago, we were better than them.
Right.
And they decided one day, with 2.5 million people in the Bahamas, or 350,000,
Right.
how could we let the Bahamas compete in the same with us? And so they're now using this population base to find. But Shanae Miller beat the gold medal winner, Elaine Thompson, Jamaican gold medal, twice this year, I'm told. Okay, in the 200 meters.
Right.
So clearly,
She could have that note.
yeah. So clearly we have to find the other athletes who are gifted and give them an opportunity to be good. And the government have to recognize we're an island nation. We're not like Jamaica and Barbados and those, Trinidad. We are islands all over the 100,000 square miles of water. We have to give these kids out there an opportunity to jump and run, and then to find them and bring them into the capital, into Freeport, into Nassau, for higher for schooling, and get their athleticism sharpened and shaped and fashioned. And so, we can be all right. And we're going to use this as a good example for us to do more, to give our athletes, baseball players, swimmers, an opportunity to be good.
All right, so for all the young athletes out there, that's their encouragement for you, that there is far to go. Like, you have a far way to go, so don't stop. We watching you, and you could make it on that world scale. And you can win yourself a property if you win a gold. I'm just saying, if you win a gold, you might get yourself a nice little property on an island or something like that. But keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing. Shawnee Miller, all the young Shawnees out there, the young Buddy Hills, young Junkanoo Jones, if you keep doing what you're doing. And we about to end this right now, but I got one more thing I want to ask Mr. Prime Minister. Now, you grow up in that area around there. You've been eating chicken snack. Probably you've been eating chicken snack before. You probably go off chicken snack. Now he's the Prime Minister of the Bahamas right now. I want to know, do you still eat the chicken snack? Do you go in the areas and buy your chicken snack? Or do you send someone to get chicken snack, or you just don't eat it at all?
Well, firstly, I like to go get my chickens.
Right.
All right. And order my combination. But you know what is interesting for me?
Right.
The young lady who owns Bamboo Shack grew up in the valley.
Right.
And really grew up in my home with, her sisters, friends of my sisters and whatnot. And so I was so proud of her that I just support the business, that she have funky on bananas as well.
Right.
And so, you go to those places and you do it. And so I find that it's important. But I think what people are surprised about, I do shopping on weekends and weekdays when I need it.
You go to the shop yourself?
Right. I give Rupert Roberts a lot of money, okay? A lot of publicity.
Right.
I tell him he should, you know, in fact I better call him up and tell him, you know,
He can see that.
the amount of pictures I take in Super Value.
In Super Value.
On Hill Beach, you know, but people say, "Oh, Prime Minister, you here shopping?" They see me come in. I buy fruits all the time. I buy milk for my son. I go down and I get these things, and you know, it's important. Sometimes you tend to get carried away with your own importance,
Right.
but keeping your feet on the ground by meeting with people regularly and who are shopping and talking, and they get used to the idea that they're going to come to a food store and see a Prime Minister in the Bahamas. Where else could that happen? They say.
Yeah, nowhere else.
So they see me in there. Sometimes I go down in the Prime Minister's car. I like to go in a Jeep. And with a backup car, and it's highly ostentatious, but they know the Prime Minister's in the store,
Right.
and whatnot. And you know, for me, it's important because, you know, you're not going to be in this position all your life.
Right.
And even though it is hoped that you can be taken care of in retirement, people like me want always to live a normal life. I won't be able to get my bamboo shot.
Right.
I won't be able to go and get my conch salad. Okay? I won't be able to go sit out there and eat it.
Right.
I won't be able to go into one of those restaurants and eat my food. You see, so it makes you natural, it makes you real,
Right.
and people see me doing it.
Well, the
So,
next
you know,
spot, I can get you conch salad on me.
Yeah.
Whatever you're drinking on
Yeah.
me. We get Island Delight Daiquiri
Yeah.
and Fortescue Dock. That's my brother's stall, and everything on me. You don't got to worry
your
now.
brother got a stall on Fortescue?
Yes, Fortescue Dock, Island Delight
Okay,
Daiquiri.
Island
So
Delight,
when you're
okay.
ready, you come through.
Well, look here. That's the only way I'm gonna see these young girls, because I know they flood around.
Yeah,
me.
they. Once you tell me they there, you come in, they will definitely be there.
No, they're coming because
Not for you.
They're coming
Not for you, because you happily married.
Absolutely.
Happily married, 42
Absolutely.
years.
42 years.
But thank you, Mr. Christie.
Appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. Let me just say that I'm happy that you're engaged in this kind of work and effort. It causes Bahamians to be aware of what's happening.
All right.
They listen to you. They follow you. I know this is one of the most conservative shows you'll ever have.
Yes.
And I'm now going to follow you as a result of your having sat with me and have a chat to see what you're doing and who you're talking to and what they're saying. Because someone like yourself, your hands are in you, your ears are to the ground. You feel what's happening out there, you know, and it's important from time to time that people like you talk to people like me, so that you can make us real in our understanding of what is taking place.
I agree.
You know, and so, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Do well. But listen, man, find a nice woman and get yourself married and begin your family.
Well, I don't begin the family. I just get find a woman.
Lord, help me. Oh, Lord, but then I should end this by saying I will continue to pray for you.
Yes. Prayers are needed everywhere.
Yes.
Well,
okay.
Cheers to you, Mr. Christie.
My brother, it's a pleasure.
I know you've been talking, you ain't touched a drink in a while, so.
Yeah.
There you have it, SawyerBoy TV. Honorable Perry Christie.
Been a pleasure.
And he's following SawyerBoy, so you all need to follow SawyerBoy TV as well.
No question about it.
Thank you.
Yes.
You all enjoy your day.
Absolutely.